Button.
All right, so when you guys think of video games, what beverage do you most associate with?
Cyanide. Yeah.
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
G Fuel.
That is correct. Mountain Dew,
Mm-hmm.
the citrusy carbonated soft drink produced and owned by Pepsi, loaded with that precious sugar and caffeine to keep you gaming long into the night. Over the years, and especially during the era, we're about to talk about, the brand kind of became synonymous with our industry as well as the youths. So much so that numerous partners would form. Famously, their quote, or partnerships, I should say. Sorry, but the Game Fuel line. That would debut in 2007 through a cross promotion for the launch of Halo 3. Still got a case of those in my basement. Sometime later, there were the Horde and Alliance flavors in collaboration with Blizzard's World of Warcraft. Then come deals for Call of Duty, Forza, Titanfall, etc., etc. Not to mention there was that whole Jeff Keighley incident with the Doritos.
Gaming Pope.
Yeah. My point is, there was a relationship, and it was here to stay.
Side note, Alliance Mountain Dew. Listen, I'm Horde.
Well, I was about to say this.
I'm Horde, but that Alliance Mountain Dew is liquid gold. Man.
What were
the Horde,
two flavors?
Well, the Horde one was just the Halo one rebranded.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
that was Game
Alliance,
Fuel?
the Alliance one is like raspberry lemonade or some shit.
Or
like
all of the
raspberry, wild berry or something.
The iterations of Game Fuel, that still the same taste?
No,
And then
they did one for Call of Duty that was like green, and then they brought it back for Xbox recently, and that was the Halo one again, and then a Diablo 4 one, which was purple, but it was still the Alliance flavor.
Yeah.
And now Game Fuel is just it's a pre-workout thing.
Yeah.
Sugar-free, and it has, like, what's that shit in it?
Creatine, probably.
Creatine, yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was in college when the Horde and Alliance came out, and they were giving it away for free on Rutgers campus.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember drinking. I drank the Horde one. I was like, this is really good. Let me try the Alliance one. I absolutely love the Alliance one, but I forced myself to be like, this fucking sucks.
I mean, the Horde one's still
It
good.
doesn't align with
It doesn't align with my
ideology.
principles. Yeah.
So back in 2014, our soda company would sponsor an event that quickly resulted in a disaster. In a period of already rising tensions just prior to the Gamergate, movement later that summer, a production known as the Mountain Dew Game Jam was thrown. And on the surface, a charming little friendly competition between respected indie devs and media personalities that team up to create new projects together. Sounds innocent enough, right? Well, let's just say in typical reality show-like fashion, the cast soon found themselves in a tumultuous position with the, I guess the crew, but not everyone on the crew, as you'll get into.
One guy.
Yeah, manufactured drama, sexism, a false bill of goods on the prizes. The filming was described as being a total nightmare. So where exactly did this all go wrong, though? Thankfully, Austin has the answers. One producer. That sounds like.
Yeah.
But, so this is Hot Button. I'm Randall Beatrice, in the room today with Chris Nudeboom.
Hello.
And Austin, as I said. Shall we begin?
Yes.
And what's interesting to note for today is for a story that features many recognizable figures, I feel like there wasn't a crazy amount of coverage on this. There isn't even a Wikipedia page, so we might educate a fair share of listeners on the topic.
Yes.
We should make
I will
the
get
Wikipedia
to
page.
Yeah.
I will get to why there is a very great article. I'm just going to say this up top. I'm probably going to say this later because it's in my script.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very great article by a man named Jared Rosen, who was both working for the company that put this production on and on the side an indie game journalist
Himself.
for a website called Indie Static. So he wrote up his experience being on set, and that's how this got out there. And as far as I'm aware, the article is only accessible through the Wayback Machine.
One of those.
Because I think Indie Static
isn't around anymore.
is gone. Yeah.
And real quick, do you want to describe what a game jam is?
That's exactly how I start my
All
script.
right, cool.
Yeah. We have said it on here before. Making games is very hard. It requires designers, 2D artists, 3D artists, musicians, programmers, sound engineers, everything, testers. Takes a lot of people, a lot of money,
Harder than
a lot
movies.
of time. Yes. Most of the games we've covered on Hot Button in the past took hundreds or thousands of people, years to make. But we as humans, just like with everything, thought, what if we made that way harder for fun? Enter the Game Jam. A Game Jam is an event where organizers set a period of time, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a couple weeks, and task developers with a theme. And then that theme, you have to make a game in that set amount of time as a team or as an individual with that theme.
As an example was the one they did, like, what's a spin?
I
an
have
interesting
examples.
spin on the first-person shooter.
Hold on, I have examples. The whole purpose of this is that creativity flourishes in constraint, basically.
Yeah.
If you give an artist
too much
forever to make something, they'll never finish it. But if you tell an artist that you have a week, they'll make something.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Exactly, pressure makes diamonds. Something like you can't keep forming ideas. You have to commit to ideas at the beginning, and you have to stick to a scope because any added features add time, and you don't have a lot of time. There's a lot of game jams, but I'm going to name a couple of the more famous ones.
Yeah.
We have the Nordic Game Jam. That's it's in Denmark, in Copenhagen.
Right.
That's a big European one. You have the Train Jam, which is where they rent out a train and all the developers develop on a train.
What? Cool.
All
right.
And the creator of that game jam will come up because she was also a participant in our topic. Amnesia Fortnite, which is the most famous example of an internal game jam where like a company's like, we need ideas. And then they just, when they release a game, they come up with, they have all their teams split up into a game jam and see which game is the most fun, and then maybe build that into an actual thing that they sell.
Yeah, all right.
Amnesia Fortnite is the Double Fine internal game jam.
Okay. Wait, is there a reason why that's the name?
Well, Fortnite because it's 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not the game Fortnite.
The game is ruined that word permanently. And Amnesia also is another game that's popular, so I was like, what the fuck?
To be fair, this game jam existed after Amnesia: The Dark Descent, but before Fortnite.
Okay.
So, and the most famous of them all, Ludum Dare. And here is a list of games that you probably know that started out as game jam entries and went on to be indie darlings, or as I call it, half of the Randy hit list.
Oh.
We have Towerfall.
Okay.
But
that was we talked about that. That was in the
Ouya
episode.
The Ouya game. In the Vancouver Full Indie Game Jam in 2012, the theme was alternate universes. Donut County.
Oh.
In 2012, the Molly Jam, which was every game had to be based on a tweet of the parody Twitter account Molyneux.
Oh, Peter Molyneux. Yeah.
Surgeon Simulator.
We're all on Molly.
Global Game Jam 2013, the theme was Sound of a Heartbeat. Gods Will Be Watching, Ludum Dare 26 in 2013, the theme was minimalism. Hollow Knight, Ludum Dare 27, 2013, the theme was 10 seconds. It started out as Hungry Night, and you had to eat the enemies to extend the time that you could play. Super Hot.
Away with that mechanic. That's the one. That's what
The 7-day FPS challenge. The theme was make a FPS in 7 days.
Boy, did they nail the spit, like the concept.
That was in 2013.
It was on a browser initially.
Yeah. We have Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
That's
the Global Game Jam in 2014. The theme was We Don't See Things as They Are. We see them as we are. That was the theme.
Right.
Celeste, the 4-day game jam in 2016. The theme was climbing. Baba Is You, the Nordic Game Jam in 2017. The theme was Not There. And Inscription, Ludum Dare 43, 2018. The theme was Sacrifices Must Be Made.
Holy shit! That's it. They say that line in the game.
Yep.
I didn't know Inscription and Baba's You came out of Game Jam. That's wild.
Here's also a list of game jam games from internal game jams, not like public game jams, but game jams within companies or between friends. We have Don't Starve from Clay Entertainment. Costume Quest and Stacking came from Amnesia Fortnite.
Both Double Fine.
The Binding of Isaac came from an game jam Ed McMillan hosted with his friends, and Thomas Was Alone came from a game jam that Mike Bithell hosted with his friends. And now that we understand what a game jam is, let's get on with our actual story. Is anybody familiar with Maker Studios?
Game Maker?
Not Game Maker.
Oh.
No.
Maker Studios was a YouTube content network.
Sounds awful.
Home to very famous creators, including, but not limited to, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Captain Sparkles, JonTron, PewDiePie, the Yogscast, Penguin Zero, who everybody knows now as Moist Critical.
Oh, yeah.
And Ray William Johnson.
That's a lot of money makers.
This was like a holdings company that owned the rights to their content and then probably just hooked them up with sponsorships.
Is it? Yeah, it's essentially a content network. They're not as popular now on YouTube. But
It's
basically
they're brothers.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like an
YouTubers are the
organization.
whores.
We pay for you to go to events and we find you sponsors, and then we get a revenue split of your.
A lot of these people are on a level where they don't even need that anymore.
And a lot of these people aren't with this network. I would say most of them, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So in 2013, Indie Static's John Mattingly and Game Jolt founder David DeCarmine,
Madden and David Duchovny,
came up with an idea, which Maker Studios picked up on. Game jams are cool, and they work for Indie Static, which is the indie magazine that I mentioned. Well, indie website that I mentioned. And we've been to a lot of game jams, and they're a lot of fun to watch, even if you're not a game dev. So what if we turn that into a show? Okay. And now when Maker Studios picked it up, the idea then becomes, we have these creators who play video games, and so we can get them screen time, and we can also give big air quotes exposure to a bunch of game developers. And as you will know, when I get to the list of participants, none of these people needed exposure, but thus Game_Jam was born.
That's how it's written? That's how it's written out?
Yes. Yeah. Now, I want to note here, as you mentioned in your intro, this will come a little later in the story, but it was sponsored by Mountain Dew. It was never officially known as the Mountain Dew Game Jam. That is a colloquial term that people called it after the disaster. Game_Jam
sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Correct.
Okay.
And internally, before they decided on the title that it would be known as on like TV, it was called the Green Label Game Jam. Green Label being a sub-brand of Mountain Dew designed to produce sponsored content. So when you were predicting earlier before we got on to recording, you were kind of right. Okay, Mountain Dew has a label where they're like, we're going to go after gamers.
Yep.
It's called Green Label, and yeah.
So wait, did Game Maker approach Mountain Dew
who
about
called
doing
who
this show?
They must have caught wind of it or something.
How or why did a YouTube channel think that they knew anything about putting together a TV show?
We'll get there.
Yeah. Throwing like a production like that into
I think people really underestimate how much it takes to make a TV show or a movie or any kind of
course
anything that goes on cable besides network television. Network television is like public network television.
Yeah.
Is like
putting that.
I think that's the extent of like what you and your friends can put together.
Yeah.
In terms of TV, and it's very visible the quality difference between
here you need lights and mics. And
okay, so Maker has a sub-brand called Polaris. And Polaris is a production...
Wait, isn't Polaris like a camera company?
Polaris is... they make ATVs.
Oh, okay.
But that's a different Polaris.
Different Polaris.
That would have made the show cooler, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's riding around
ATVs.
And so they had a studio, like a warehouse in LA that was a production studio that didn't get much use because YouTubers don't need a studio. They just do it from home.
House, yeah.
So here is a quote from Jared Rosen of Indie Static, one of many quotes from this guy from the article that I mentioned. The entire building had been converted into a gigantic branded reality show set, complete with a judge panel, a stage for the 4 teams, color-coded workstations with computers, and conspicuous Mountain Dew signage. Developers from across the indie spectrum had been flown to LA with the intention to live and work in 4 gigantic Winnebagos that were being refueled and restocked with water, electricity, and supplies every few hours.
And Mountain Dew.
An entire second production company and a small mercenary army of creative consultants zipped around the stages while dozens of TV-quality cameras hovered unblinking over the central floor. The production was handed to veteran producers Aaron Umatani and Jason Serrato. And as I mentioned, they worked for Polaris and a couple other Polaris employees, including our indie game reporter Jared Rosen, were there as well. Here's where Mountain Dew comes in. Maker isn't in the business of just making YouTube videos. They're in the business of making money. And how do you make money when you have a YouTube video? That requires
advertising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More specifically, branding.
Yeah.
And what's the dream branding for a game-related? You said it in the intro.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Or known as MTN Dew now.
Yeah. Well,
stupid.
PepsiCo, technically. Yeah, as you said.
Sorry, I haven't gotten over that. I don't even drink Mountain Dew, but the age of abbreviating things and removing all the vowels.
I mentioned game jams have time limits, so the competition was set to run for 4 days, and would obviously include game development, but also events where teams were asked to perform, quote, tasks related to game development and win prizes. And this is a quote from Adriel Wallach, who is one of the indie devs.
It's like Survivor challenges or something?
She is the creator of the Train Jam I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Every prize for our mini challenges was a branded prize. Mountain Dew colored lawn chairs, cases of Mountain Dew, etc. Even the grand prize, a year supply of Mountain Dew, a trip to a Mountain Dew sponsored extreme sporting event in Breckenridge, Colorado, and access to ID at Xbox.
Oh, wow.
And then parentheses, something nearly all of the contestants already owned, and if not, could get with a single phone call.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's not hard to sign up for ID at Xbox.
I did it before.
Yeah. It was so overly corporate and bro culture that it was just uncomfortable.
How much? So I remember we were joking about this in the Event Rising episode with the soapy water thing. How much do you think a year supplies worth of Mountain Dew is?
Oh, hold on. I'll math it out.
Yeah, there's a way to figure it out.
Really?
They have math for this shit. Yeah, because
I'll figure it out. Hold on.
you can't just order Mountain Dew eternally for life.
Yeah.
I know this because at one point, one of the guys on Kind of Funny, Tim, used to drink a LaCroix every day.
Mm-hmm.
And a fan entered him in a contest for a year's supply of LaCroix as a joke, and he won.
Holy shit.
And then there were just videos of Kind of Funny complaining because they sent them all that LaCroix at once, and they didn't have a big studio, so they didn't have anywhere to put it. And I think they still have LaCroix to this day.
And then they counted it to see, like, you know. That's funny. Man, never mind. I'm sure you're gonna get into it, but it's like the mini challenges is such a distraction away from like.
Oh, I'm gonna get into it right now.
Okay. It's gotta be so fucking annoying. You're like in the middle of coding, and someone's like, "Oh, throw these rings over it." Like,
not to put the cart before the horse, but we don't know what all the challenges were going to be.
Oh yeah.
So
I guess I should. This got stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming that a human drinks a 2 liter of Mountain Dew every other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's roughly $363 to get a year's supply.
That sounds less impressive written out that way.
If you drink a 2 liter a day,
or worded like,
and they usually do. It's usually like a case a day.
A case a day?
Yeah, or like a 12-pack, like a fridge pack a day.
Do you think when they do these calculations, they take into consideration like the recommendation for a human's average caloric intake?
No,
like they're like, oh, according to what humans should drink, you should only drink 1 Mountain Dew a day because we contain 80% of your daily sugar and carbs.
Doctors recommend.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of accounts of people on like the Price is Right and shit that won like year supplies of something and it always expires. They send you way too much.
Well, yeah, because it's so cheap to make.
Yeah.
Why would they send it all at once? See, I always thought
in the
print or like it would,
if you win a year supply of McDonald's. They give you coupons.
Prepared food.
If you win a year supply of a product that they can send you, they send it to you all at once.
Like a pallet, listen to a pallet of Mountain Dew.
That's like such a burden of a prize.
Why don't they give them like? I can understand why, right? Those prizes are literally tantamount to nothing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like getting them a real prize, like
joke.
I don't know, maybe the next game that you develop will guarantee you it'll get published by this developer
or
by this publisher.
That's what these people thought the access to ID at Xbox was.
Yeah,
but all
Not
ID
just the
all
thing you
ID
sign
at
up for and
Xbox
pay
is
$100.
You pay $100 a year. And you can turn your Xbox into a dev kit. That's all ID at Xbox actually
That's
is.
something I've done it. There's no like you don't.
It's very easy to get access.
Have to apply for it. Really,
So
it's just a.
You're
might
already
have, you might have in
subscription
2014. It might have been harder to get in 2014.
All right.
But
I don't remember
still,
when I did it.
these people definitely already had it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like having a battle of the bands competition and the winners get like a drum kit and a guitar. Like they already have one.
Yeah, that's not why they're there.
Right?
Yeah. They're hoping for connections. Like,
Okay.
It's a networking.
These,
thing.
we don't, as I said, we don't know what all the challenges were going to be, but we do have some. The challenges included, but we're not limited to, a Let's Play where the YouTuber had to do a Let's Play of one of the games the devs on their team had released.
A previous game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Markiplier doing a Let's Play of Stanley Parable, which I'm sure he had already done at that point.
Is like a you're promoting like something.
Yeah.
No, this is just a reality show challenge, and the judges would judge it.
How do you judge a Let's Play?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly.
stupid.
Well, hold on. Arts and crafts projects. An obstacle course
It's like a macaroni art of
Yeah.
thing.
complete with traffic cones.
Like a physical obstacle course?
Yes. And to get this is my favorite one. This is the one everybody shouts out when they talk about this. Having to work without power for 30 minutes in a game jam.
I don't think I knew that part of. Well, I mean, I meant this chapter of the tale. I knew.
Literally every part of game development involves electricity. Of some kind.
No, we're gonna make them go pen and paper on it.
So
Pen
do
and paper.
you just sit there in the dark and wait it out until you get fucking power back? It's real
I
exciting.
guess you just talk about ideas and you hand draw some sprites or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
that won't slow down progress, but there's one other a couple things from this I do know, but that's plain ridiculous.
Yeah. Additionally, participants were asked to pose with Mountain Dew products for promo shots and were not allowed to drink anything other than Mountain Dew while filming. You knew that.
That's the one I know of people like filling out like even water.
They had a water fountain in the building,
Yeah.
and people were dumping out Mountain Dew into the water fountain and filling it with water so they could drink water.
Yeah,
because they weren't allowed to drink anything other than cans.
Yeah, that's what you
Dehydrate
normally
the fuck
do.
out of you after a
Well,
while.
no, normally like if you go to like Warped Tour or something and it's sponsored by Rockstar.
It's just water bottles with their logo on.
Yeah.
Well, no, they make monster cans and fill them with water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but the company
Cans,
actually does
though.
that for you.
I thought it was like I was
Yeah.
picturing like the plastic. You see like Gatorade in or something, and it's like just water. But
No, they had to be cans and the logo had to be facing the camera.
fuck.
Now, we are not yet started, but production is already estimated to cost somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000
Shit.
just to set up this warehouse.
Okay.
Now,
Do they bring their own PCs?
no, they had a computer set up, and we will get to that.
Huh.
The competition would be as such. We have 4 YouTubers and 12 game developers. They would be split up into 4 teams. Each team would have 1 YouTuber and 3 game devs.
Okay.
And
What is the YouTuber meant to really do?
ideas and on-camera stuff.
Okay.
Wait, Randy, that's a great question.
Yeah,
In general, what do YouTubers do?
For society.
What do you say you do here?
I mean, we talked about the
more streamers that
we talked about the
provide
tester,
nothing, but
the PlayStation reality show they did.
yeah.
And nobody
Yeah.
watched that until the 3rd season when they got a bunch of Twitch streamers on
you
it
can
and
correct me,
Ego Raptor as well.
I assume like is the media personality, let's say that, like are they the liaison between like all of these like
They're just
the people working in the trenches, or are they just meant to add some
They're just
spice into the
These people have to be on camera, and game devs might not be good at being
Oh.
on camera. So
So I think the premise here is the fact that since Game Maker is putting this together,
could be, but
right? Game Maker's wheelhouse is that they basically own the rights to these YouTubers, right? So from my perspective, when they're putting this together, they're probably thinking very low of the game developers and very high of the YouTubers.
yes,
So the idea is that by pairing them together, you'll have this eccentric, popular YouTuber that'll help give you great ideas to make your product. But like for the most part, most YouTubers don't know jack shit about programming.
no,
Unless it is a programming
not at all.
YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And like,
That's why I
Yeah,
thought it was like,
it's-
oh, are they just the team representative? Like,
to
here's the
me-
hype man for your group. and
yeah,
it's-
to me it sounds
you know?
very denigrating. I kind of feel bad
kind
for
of,
them,
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I probably just got annoyed.
so let's go through our cast here.
Yeah.
We have indie devs. We have Davey Radin, creator of the Stanley Parable.
Oh.
Adriel Wallach, who I already mentioned. who was one of the original programmers on Among Us, also the creator of Train Jam.
There was only like 5 people that made that game,
Yep.
right? So he was one of them. She, sorry.
Yeah. Tom Jackson, one of the creators of Surgeon Simulator. Robin Arnault, the creator of Antichamber. Zoe Quinn, creator of Depression Quest.
Yes, I knew she was on there.
Yeah. Cale Bradbury, who I hadn't heard of until this, created a game called Sound Self. The Arcane Kids, which was an indie collective. The only one of them that you will probably know is Ben Esposito, the creator of Donut County and Neon White. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And then 3 additional students who won a contest at USC's game design school.
That's still pretty stacked,
Yeah.
like...
A lot of very... And like...
Big people.
You know...
And still actively...
Like, Among Us
industry.
had yet to come... Or Among Us,
Sure,
I think,
yeah,
had yet
that
to
was
come
later.
out. Antichamber had yet to come out. Donut County nor Neon White had come out.
I guess it's a good point. This is...
Stanley Parable, I believe, was out in its like mod form, but not out as a game yet.
okay.
So like...
So this is like all the bands that were on the Burnout 3 soundtrack before
Exactly,
they
yeah.
exploded.
You're always going on about the Burnout 3 soundtrack.
It is
And
great.
I'll never stop.
Our gaming YouTubers were Markiplier, John
Yes.
Tron,
Yep.
Captain Sparkles, and Yogscast streamer Sam Strippin.
The only one I'm not entirely familiar with is Captain Sparkles.
Very popular.
Huh?
Yeah.
For the kids?
Yeah, you can't go by a middle school without seeing it on a TV
I'm
show.
too
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Now, the judges for our competition are YouTuber Angry Joe Vargas.
He's a judge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kelly Santiago, co-founder of That Game Company.
Oh.
And Mark Essen, the creator of Nidhogg.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. So what role do the judges play exactly?
They're judging the challenges and also the games at the end.
Okay.
And I think also they're like kind of hosts, which is why Angry Joe is there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they kind of helping them out? Like, does anybody never mind. That's just
I don't know. Now, before we get to the actual filming, we have one more topic to cover. Our villain, Maddie Lesham.
Maddie Lesham.
Lesham was the CEO of a branding company who had been hired by PepsiCo to sell their products.
At any cost.
Because of the pervasive sponsorship, Lesham ended up as a consultant on the set for the show, which reports vary, but it seems like he really wanted to get it out of branding and into TV production. And so...
Yeah, I mean, where was this going to air on? Like, it was just going to be
TV.
Whoa, this was actually...
TV and YouTube. Well, I was undecided, but
Okay.
they were preparing for both
G4
TV
was
and
still
YouTube.
around at this time?
Yeah. Now, here's another quote from Jared Rosen's article. Somehow, he had ended up as the most visible director on set, as well as what was described to me as a, quote, Pepsi consultant. I quickly
walking
took,
around with a clipboard and a seat.
I quickly took from his posture and the way people were interacting with him that he would spearhead the tone, the filming, and the brand friendliness of the affair. But I was wrong. He ended up being a creative consultant who had somehow slipped into the project through the connections of the sponsors and was the de facto guy by virtue of being the loudest.
I can picture it.
Yeah.
And I like assuming he probably doesn't care about video games really either.
Definitely not.
Like I highly doubt that this was it was passion coming from him.
Before filming could begin, contracts need to be signed. You don't just walk onto a set. There's a lot of legalese.
Yeah, I know that from my mom.
And this is where our problems begin. I found this in a Reddit thread. None of the devs were allowed to work on their own projects during the filming or in the 2-week lead up to the filming, since they would be then, quote, making a competing product.
But what if they're completely independent? It's for themselves.
Doesn't matter. Their travel...
I mean, I know there's like non-compete shit, but that's just silly.
Their travel and board would be paid for the filming, but they're also contractually obligated to attend interviews and press events for the show after filming, and travel for those would be out of pocket.
What? For how long? They're not going to come to you promoting their shit?
Yeah. And of course, they couldn't sue if they were, quote, intentionally misrepresented for dramatic effect.
That's reality television for you.
Yeah.
Now, you have to understand, and this is taken from...
Power of editing.
I think this is taken from a Polygon article. You have to understand that, like, if you're on The Bachelor or Survivor or something like that, you're just a dude.
Mm.
these people are, when you're an indie developer, you are in essence your own brand, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
you're the company. You're the face.
When I read off names like Davey Radin and Ben Esposito, like, you know their names because you love Donut County and you know who made that.
Yep.
You know, we like the Stanley Parable. So, like, being intentionally misrepresented
could fuck your entire
career up, as opposed to just like making you a villain on Twitter.
It's a mismatch, right? Like, he clearly didn't understand the concepts of like
not at all
the indie space whatsoever, right?
Yeah, because they were just applying that the same way they would any other show.
If he wanted to stir up drama and make things like more entertaining, an alternative way, I think he could have done that without basically trying to fuck over these devs, is maybe like
releasing live birds into the...
Yeah, right? No, like doing something like some other kind of hurdle that they have to get over that he changes midway, right? Which is like, all right, guys, everyone's game has to be a first-person shooter now. Like dumb shit like that kind of tests their skills as opposed to making them look like shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the theme.
And I'm not trying to say that like it was a good idea to begin with.
We'll get to his solution.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not good.
I just looked him up, by the way. I'll read off his biography in a bit.
Okay. No, I will hand the floor over to you when we get to the end. Keep it up. But,
yeah.
What's he look like?
Don't want to know.
Imagine what he looks like. That's what he looks like.
All right.
He was also like 52 at the time.
Yeah.
Well, he's 61 now.
Right, yeah.
So 10 years ago, he would have been 51.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was 51 years old. Yeah.
After being delayed a couple of days due to contract negotiations, the contracts were then settled to where they can no longer be misrepresented and they were allowed to work on their own games. In the meantime, and filming officially began in March of 2014.
How far did they get?
The competition started off fine in the first couple hours. The teams were decided and development began. Now here's Robin Arnault, quote from Polygon article. We all understand it was a first a show and second a game jam. Our bullshit meters were hanging at about 15 to 20% going in, but that seemed worth it in order to demonstrate something magical to the public. We knew there would be challenges that would be bullshit, but as long as we were working with our friends and showcasing what is magical about our community, we were fine. Our whole interaction with anybody before the jam went down was nothing but respectful and excited.
Cool.
But within those first few hours, a couple of red flags started popping up. Here's one of my other favorite bits. The computers that they used were not purchased for the event. Because this is a YouTuber studio, they were just reusing things that computers that YouTubers use to stream and stuff.
Okay.
And record videos and edit videos. And it turned out that the copies of the Adobe software that were loaded onto the computers for the competition were pirated, and production had to
That wasn't in the $500,000
production had to be delayed
budget?
when one of the USC students plugged a USB drive into the computer, and the computer got a virus and corrupted the USB drive.
Holy shit.
And all the copies of the Adobe software had to be removed, and Windows had to be reinstalled.
Oh, man. That's great.
Our second red flag, challenge 1, was as I said, the team YouTuber has to make a Let's Play. For this, they were not provided the microphones or cameras or anything that a typical YouTuber would use. They were given branded gaming headsets. And the headsets were of such poor quality that Markiplier cheated by using his phone to record his voice, which gave his team an advantage since the phone mic from 2014, mind you, not phone mics now, was leagues better.
Hey, that's just smart.
Audio.
That's how you beat the system.
Smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It doesn't sound like any of this was rehearsed.
Yeah.
Or like they didn't test anything out.
And then development continues. The challenges continue. Here's a quote from Angry Joe. It was becoming clear to the indie devs that in between these stupid reality TV challenges that involved weird shit like traffic cones and time challenges and random chaos, where all of a sudden a development team would be forced to work without power for 30 minutes while trying to make a fucking game made for an impossible environment to actually create the fucking games.
Yeah, he's totally right.
I think it'd be way more interesting to just show the process of making a game.
Yeah. That's I think to a 51-year-old out of touch TV executive guy, that's going to be, you're not going to find that compelling. But your audience is people that are interested in that. I'd rather see like people like, who make games, making games than running around traffic cones or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's-
Now, in addition to these challenges, our boy Matty Lesham was beginning his his hell. Davey was forced to take off his nail polish because it was green and he couldn't hold the can of Mountain Dew with the nail polish on.
What?
Zoe Quinn was asked to take off the buttons on her jacket, but then got into a shouting match with a PA who tried to give her a new jacket that would cover her tattoos. The Arcane kids...
It's so conservative.
The Arcane kids were screamed at for not holding the Mountain Dew bottles right, while the entire group was lectured on how to properly smile like you were enjoying the product.
You mean like logo out?
Yeah.
Did they have to go?
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
I think so. A product that everyone was enjoying less and less as the day went on.
Of course, you're gonna get sick of everything
I
eventually.
would kill to be.
Hold on.
Be so, oh,
The
God.
slow train wreck of faces flipping into scowls marked only the beginning of what would soon turn into an utter shit show. That's Jared Rosen's quote.
Oh my God, I want to be the Foley guy in this show. So every
Yeah.
time they open up like a can of Mountain Dew,
You gotta-
it's just like no, it sounds like it's exploding. Like,
You have somebody.
sorry, you have to do this in post. You have to edit down my.
No, you have an assistant. You have an assistant running around with a spray bottle, adding condensation to every can.
Yeah.
Make it look appetizing.
And every time they drink, it's, like
Now, the devs were stopped again to begin their second challenge, an arts and crafts project to be judged by the judges. And the producers could tell that the devs were already tired.
Yeah, I'm probably fucking annoyed.
And their hearts weren't in it.
Wait, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. What's the arts and crafts project? Did they?
I don't know.
Really?
macaroni art.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
what I said before.
Like craft paper or something. I don't know.
Making games is already art.
I know.
Dude, you know, it'd be sick if they made paper mache pinatas. Remember making those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things were dope.
Imagine trying to program after you have all the glue on your hand.
No, it's just cootie catchers.
Now, most of the producers, when they saw how tired the devs were, they felt pretty bad and thought maybe we should take a break. Matty Lesham decided he had a different idea. You see, in reality TV, it's very often good to get the people tired because people get angry and aggravated.
You become more irritable
You
and
get
you're
grumpy.
hungry and sleepy. Yeah.
And this is
This
when,
program needs some fighting.
this is
Yeah.
when something became very apparent.
That's
You
what I
see,
mean. That's where I first heard about this.
I don't have a list of who was on whose team. Only accounts
I was
of
curious. Yeah,
only
that's not
but
out there. Just 4 teams.
when the teams were decided. Jared Rosen reports Lesham had input that nobody else knew and put together JonTron and Zoe Quinn. This was seemingly told to the contestants that the teams were random, but production quickly proved that not to be the case, as Matty Lesham and his camera crew kept approaching the two and cornering them to make comments about one another. Does anybody know why this would be a problem?
Well, their politics being
Yes.
different. Yeah, and they
This
knew,
was
but they
right-
knew ahead of time.
This
like,
was right after JonTron's controversy where he did the right-wing stuff on a podcast, and it was
Okay.
also right at the beginning of
And
Gamergate.
Zoe Quinn also very outspoken about
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Um,
So that is absolutely intentional.
Yes.
That was crafted.
Now, to both of their credits,
They did not give into it, right? Like
the two did
Despite
not
being
realize
engineered
that this was on purpose, but they did realize that the two of them being on a team together could be a problem.
like, wait a minute, we've both been had.
So before production even started, the two got together in a room and talked it out in private, deciding not allow their differing viewpoints to taint this opportunity.
Okay, that's dignified.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it
Kudos to him.
it came to a head when at one point JonTron left to do something, I don't know what, go to the bathroom, whatever, and on his way back was cornered into a separate room and pressured into saying something negative about Zoe Quinn.
Yo, I heard she called you a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what?
JonTron refused, and this angered Lesham.
I'm sure it did.
Now, here's a quote. This was only the beginning for the manufactured reality TV drama. Here's a quote from Robin Arnault. They thought they would be able to get a bunch of developers together and put them in a weird situation and turn them against each other, which is very against indie culture. It is mind-blowing they didn't see this coming, and they thought it was a good idea. We all help each other out. There are interpersonal connections. People can argue, but they were so off the mark by what they thought they were going to get out of us. As soon as they tried to pit us against each other, they realized, oh no, this isn't going to work.
It's a friendly competition.
Yeah.
They all work in the same field.
Yep.
Like, you have to encourage one another. Like, I feel like they're like seconds away from just being like, all right, new challenge. We crank the heat all the way up.
Yeah.
Like,
We turn off the AC and let their computers cook them alive.
Then they'll start killing each other.
Lesham was not happy that his Zoe Quinn JonTron
It didn't work.
Thing wasn't working. But the
They should
dude
have played itself.
But the dude clearly had Gamergate on the brain, and he quickly brainstormed a quick idea. You see, of the 16 participants...
Meet our special guest, Anita Sarkeesian.
Of the 16 participants I mentioned, there were only 2 female devs, Adriel Wallach and Zoe Quinn, and they were both on separate teams. This meant that 2 of the teams were entirely male, and then 2 of the teams each had a single female.
Anyone of color? I don't know how the representation here.
Yeah. Lesham first went to the 2 all-male teams and asked, quote, 2 of the other teams have women on them. Do you think they're at a disadvantage?
Oh my God.
Fuck off.
Markiplier answered diplomatically, saying the teams actually had a huge advantage as they have more viewpoints and different ideas.
He saw through that.
Though everyone is strong regardless because there's a lot of skill in the room.
Say what you will about JonTron, and I have, but that was a good response in the moment. He did not, take the bait, even by accident. That's the thing. It's like, even you could be, your heart could totally be in the right place, and then be like, and if you just stutter for a second, it'll look
That was some depth navigation.
Yeah.
Kudos to Markiplier. The dude's a pro.
Yeah. Or that was Markiplier.
That was Markiplier.
Oh, I thought it was JonTron. I'm sorry.
No, that's Markiplier.
Okay, that makes sense coming from Markiplier.
Yeah.
That was
when I watched, I saw a comment section on an article about this, and they're like, they thought they could get the nicest YouTuber of all time to talk shit about people.
Yeah. And he's used to on the cuff having to,
Yeah. He wasn't done there. He continued to go around to other people who weren't as nice as Markiplier and ask questions like, is Zoe off her game? Are women coders a disadvantage?
Oh my God, what? This is 2013?
Wow. This infuriated the groups, obviously, as they were trying to work, and Lesham reportedly said, stop filming, we're not getting a story here.
Stop, wait, really?
Yeah. But he wasn't done, and he went to the other 2 teams. These are the 2 teams with the girls on them.
Yeah.
And said, do you think you're at an advantage because you have a pretty girl on your team?
What? Gross.
Mm-hmm. I would like to take an aside here. I'm going to give you a little background on Adriel Wallach. Women should not have to prove themselves by being better than men.
Yeah, obviously.
But she was the best programmer in the room. Before Adriel Wallach got a job in games, she worked for Lockheed Martin developing satellites.
Whoa. So video games must be a passion then, because I bet that probably paid better.
Yeah, it definitely paid more.
Yeah. And her first job outside of that was working on Rock Band Blitz.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And then after Rock Band Blitz, she went to Among Us.
Woo.
And then she started the Train Jam. So she fucking rules and is very good at her job, clearly, because I could not do satellite programming. He didn't get any response from any of them initially, but he kept pressing.
How do you not just snap back?
Eventually, Robin Arnault, who was on the team with Adrian Wallach, spoke up and said basically what I said. He said, we are at an advantage. Wallach is the best programmer here. Yeah. Lesham didn't like that answer.
These are not reality show contestants that you can manipulate it and
so he kept prodding. And eventually he got a very understandable rise out of Adrian Wallach. And here is her quote after the fact. He got me to, with an embarrassed and flushed red face, launched into a statement about how his questions is indicative of everything that is wrong in our industry in terms of sexism. No, we weren't at an advantage because we had a woman on our team. We were at an advantage because I'm a damn fine programmer and game developer. We were at an advantage because my skills allowed us to be in an advantage, not my, quote, pretty face. He had the audacity to approach me later and explain that it wasn't personal. This wasn't a personal attack on me. He knew this was a sensitive topic in the industry and wanted to address it. Well, you know what? It was personal. You sat there and questioned my skills, my intelligence, and my life. It was so personal that I can't even wrap my head around the fact that someone could even pretend to believe that this wasn't a personal attack.
Yeah.
And then Jason Rosen, who saw the apology, said, Maddie pulled back his camera, making sure to privately half apologize, and said that he, quote, marched with the women in the 70s with, quote, flowers in his hair.
No, some of my best friends are women.
Yeah.
Some of my best
One of my friends is gay. It's like the
I
first.
think at least we called him that.
Yeah. We called him gay all in the 90s.
Oh,
I marched with
man.
women in the 70s.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, I meant against them. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry. I slipped it.
I guess, yeah. He felt bad, but not bad enough, because shortly after, they took a break for dinner. And on her way to dinner, Lesham cornered Zoe Quinn with a camera and tried to ask her the same question. She just said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. That's the right response. Completely justified.
So after this, Wallach and Quinn walked out. The production crew came up with other excuses for the exit and tried to continue filming.
They lost one of the cone challenges. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she broke her leg. She stepped over a cone, and now she's gone.
And we tried to get her to program on their laptops and run a marathon at the same time. And
She was programming on Linux, and the entire computer exploded because no one understands it.
We caught them drinking Sierra Mist.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's a PepsiCo product.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, and then one by one, other devs walked out too. Whether they were frustrated themselves or they're just pissed off about losing teammates or the women thing.
Yeah.
It's
now
snowballing.
I've been using a lot of quotes from him, but I cannot reword this any better than Jared Rosen does because it is so well written. And like I said, it's a brilliant article and it's only accessible by the Wayback Machine. So I got to put this into audio. Here's a full quote. Try not to interrupt me because I love this quote. It took around 20 minutes for the man with flowers in his hair to storm out of the building, sans job, his trilby, director scarf, and lit e-cigarette, marking the last time I'd see him. But the damage was done. Akira Thompson and Kelly were rapidly notified of the brewing situation. Zoe pulled me aside with Davey and Tom, as she basically demanded Maddie's head on a stick. Adriel was livid. Robin wanted blood. As the developers shared experiences with others over dinner that the others didn't know about, a strange thing began to happen between them that once solidified what games were all about and doomed Polaris and Maker at the same time. They formed ranks and revolted. The rest of the night was an odd blur to the Polaris folks. Maker production staff and YouTubers trying to wrap their heads around what was happening. We were able to film the final walk before the judges, but that was the end of it. Many folks tried to offer compromises, change the programming block entirely to game development, powwow on fake lawns outside of each of the 4 Winnebagos as I chain-smoked American spirits and scanned faces. Adriel and Zoe stuck to their guns, and everyone stuck with them. They wouldn't be associating their names with a company that hired people like Maddie. Even though he was fired, even though he was a consultant, the energy was too low, the products of a hypothetical game jam at this point wouldn't meet their own standards, and the programming showed a lack of understanding that made it difficult to get behind.
Which is just like, yo, we're not even going to accept the compromise. They fired this guy. It's like, no, we're gonna take the fucking ship down. And guess what? Like
they did.
They did. They took it down, and they cost this company $500,000 in a useless set.
That rules.
Yeah, that's dope.
Now, day 2
You're not
of
gonna
filming.
hurt anyone ever again. That was day 1.
That was day 1. Day 2 of filming.
Wow.
I'm kidding. There was no day 2.
I was like, what happened the next day?
The entire production was scrapped. Here's another quote from Jared
They didn't
Rosen.
even make it a full 24 hours?
No.
Jesus
the following
Christ.
morning was one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had. I slept in a dressing room across from a toilet and awoke to the sound of multiple companies awkwardly shuffling around the studio, bereft of any work or purpose. My bosses, their bosses, and their bosses' bosses tried and failed to get the devs back on board, hoping against hope that they could salvage something out of the remaining resources. No one budged. And Zoe Quinn said to Polygon, we were all exhausted and stressed out and had nothing to tap into. If we had tried again in that moment, I can't speak for others, but I know I wouldn't be doing my best work. I wouldn't be showing anything to the world that I'd want to show. I didn't see the point in it. Plus, I couldn't support something that Lesham touched or was allowed to touch.
I mean, at least Game Jam itself lives on. That concept.
Yeah. You know what I would do? If I was the game devs, I'd be like, yeah, we'll do it again. 30,000 each.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
It'd be like, oh, you really want to make it up to us? Okay, pay us all $30,000 to do this. And then be like, yeah.
Well, there are reports of like there were some negotiations. I couldn't find, this was all on a Reddit thread, so I don't know how valid it is because it's not in his article.
Whatever they were getting paid, it wasn't worth it.
There was
Really,
they pulled aside a couple of the devs and tried to be like, what if we like keep this studio the way it is,
bring in new people and
bring in new production company, and like a couple months from now you guys come back and we consult with you on how to actually do a game jam. And there was like talk, and then like a couple of the devs, I think mainly Robin Arnault and Adrian Wallach, were just like, I'm never working with you again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have every right to.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah. Now, indie developer Akira Thompson, who was the show's creative consultant from the game development side, has this quote for Polygon. Early on, I was consulting with the Polaris people and telling them what a game jam is, the kind of community we are, and the kinds of people we should get involved with. Although it was pitched to me as a reality show, I said, no, it can't be that. It needs to be about allowing people to see how games are made and who makes them. What happened is the Polaris guys had the best of intentions, but once the money came in, the project got too big for them, and an outside production company was brought in from reality TV, and they know what they wanted to get and what they wanted. It was very specific, and none of us were privy to it.
Yeah, they were playing a different language entirely.
They didn't get it, and everyone else got fucked. I am angry. This was not what I signed up for. I got friends to come to this thing, and we all thought it was going to be something different, and now I look like an asshole. I look like an idiot. It turned into a massive failure, and my name is associated with it, and I am very angry.
It's a shame.
Mm-hmm. So that's the end of the Mountain Dew Game Jam. I have a little bit of aftermath.
Okay.
No one has seen a second of any footage.
Yeah, I think I remember looking for it when you first pitched this,
Well, is the YouTube channel Maker still around?
Nope. John Tron did resurrect the idea. Him and Tom Jackson resurrected the idea. There's a John Tron video called the Head-to-Head Game Jam, which is just like a John Tron. It's like a 30-minute John Tron video where they do a game jam. It's okay. But one thing I purposefully left out at the beginning is that Maker Studios and Polaris are no more.
Anybody acquire their assets? Or?
Not for the reasons you think.
All right.
You see,
fall into hot water elsewhere.
Lawsuits. Here we come.
Yeah.
Game Jam, or the Mountain Dew Game Jam, was not the biggest thing that Maker Studios had going in March of 2014, because Maker Studio and its subsidiaries were purchased by the Walt Disney Corporation in March of 2014 for $500 million.
Why?
Wow. Bought off by the mouse.
Yep.
What made...
That means that this footage is somewhere in fucking Disneyland.
Yeah, it's gonna come out on the VHS.
It's down there with like Walt Disney's like
his frozen head.
Oh no, his anti-Semitic rants and taped on. It's like it must be right next to him.
Yeah. The lost footage of Mountain Dew Game Jam's in the same
vault. Yeah, same vault.
In 2017, Maker Studios and its subsidiaries were then absorbed into a newly formed Disney Digital Network.
What? I mean, Disney could have just launched their own fucking...
Yeah, but why launch our own when we could buy one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was also back when Disney was gobbling everything up.
You're right. And they were on a spree. So.
Well, money was free, and now that money is not free, Disney is selling it all off.
Isn't it crazy, though, that like... Did Disney buy Star Wars for like $7 billion?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
So
same with Marvel.
So Maker Studios is worth 1/14 of a Star Wars? That's crazy.
I mean, Activision Blizzard was, what, 69
something like that.
billion?
Well, okay, so back in the day, that's the value that companies placed it at, but that's because they didn't understand the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
All they knew is that they did not see a way to get to the level that Game Maker, this game studio, was at.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier to buy one that is like the most established out there, as opposed to try and retry and redo and redo.
I mean,
like Marvel had to be the biggest bargain ever.
They also weren't the only one. Rooster Teeth, who recently got shut down, RIP, was purchased by Warner.
Oh no!
Wait,
that's the last people you want to purchase you.
Wait, Rooster Teeth got shut down
by Warner. They got bought by Warner Brothers, and
weren't they shitheads?
Yeah, they were.
A lot of them.
Okay,
they
cool,
were
cool.
But
Like
Not all of them, but
yeah,
a lot of
like another way to
guys.
think about it
Yeah.
is like companies buy other companies, and the price they pay is basically how difficult they think it'll be to turn around.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
Right.
or like to do it themselves.
before you realize it's not worth the effort. You're just
yeah,
like,
how
fuck it.
easy is it to make money within this space? If it's not easy, then they will pay a shit ton of money for
Gotta
it.
act quick.
Yeah, but
the next quarter's coming.
They see Star Wars. They see a bargain because they're like, "We'll milk this for 10
Yeah, of
years."
course.
People will be so sick of Star Wars. We're gonna have Solo and Boba Fett and
Remember when
Jango
George Lucas
Fett?
called Disney white slavers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's because they are. Dude.
I know, but that was
Yeah.
really. that
Do
was
you
funny.
think George Lucas goes to bed at night thinking like, "I've become Shmi," you know,
He
just
got- he
taken
got-
into the desert.
He got the bag though.
He did got the
He got
bag.
the bag.
He got that bag.
Okay, now I'm gonna throw to you for an update on Maddie Lesham.
Oh,
Oh boy, dude, this
he
dude's
still has a job,
piece.
huh?
His bio on maddylesham.com. Oh god, dude, I want to. Here's his face.
Yep, that's what he looks
Oh,
like.
that
That's
did look
him.
like what I imagined.
Yeah.
All right, I can picture that with a little headset on.
Looks like what's his name? Kane from Command
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
Conquer.
he looks just like Kane.
Yeah.
For those of you
Yeah.
listening with no
He's gotta
with
go
no
lead the
He
visual,
Brotherhood
looks,
of
he
Nod
looks
after
just
this.
like Kane. Maddie Lesham is the co-founder of New Mandate Films, a film and television production company created to mine the rich depth of Jewish history, literature, and stories from the Bible to the present day.
That's not where I expected this.
Yeah, New Mandate's
you
first
telling
feature
me the
film.
sexist was religious?
Oh,
That's crazy.
That's nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, their first feature film, The Survivor, directed by Academy Award winner Barry Levinson, from the movie
Whoa.
Wise Guys, Rain
Yeah.
Man, and
Yeah.
Diamond.
Yeah, and he did the Bay. He did
Yeah.
and Stripes and
The Survivor debuted in North America on HBO on April 27th, 2022. Also the name of a Jewish holiday that I'm not going to try and pronounce. I think it's Yom HaShoah. But
That sounds right.
it was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Television
didn't he
Movie.
do Wag the Dog?
Haunted by memories of guilt over
Or
the
Good Morning
price of
Vietnam.
survival.
Sorry, that was it.
Oh, okay. This is a description of his film, The Survivor. I was like, I
Not
scrolled,
his life.
I scrolled. Yeah, it said haunted by the memories of guilt over the price of survival.
This dude's not
Survival.
haunted by shit.
Half attempts to use high-profile boxing match against Rocky Marciano to find the woman he fell in love with before the war. I was like, who the fuck is this? And I scroll down more, and all I see is like the commandant of of Auschwitz. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm dead serious. His bio just lists the movie. Also,
Yeah,
fun fact,
that's in it. The summary of the film is in his bio.
yeah, he also started
There.
in 2005. Lesham founded the USA Rock Paper Scissors League and launched a nationwide tournament for sponsor Bud Light. The winner of the 2008 finals was awarded a prize of $50,000.
He shacked up with Bud Light.
Yeah, so the
Dude,
company he
man.
found was called Protagonist, which
Rock-
is the one that did
That-
this.
I didn't have that written down, but yeah, Protagonist is
They're
the name of
they're a
his
marketing and
company.
television production company that focuses on the creation of sponsored TV shows built around the sponsor's brand.
Mhm.
Pepsi was the
He's still-
Protagonist's
he's-
first client
There you
and
go.
remained with Protagonist for more than 10 years.
Wow, that didn't
Uh,
scare them off?
You know what is
He's
funny?
still doing it.
You know what's funny? He's founded it in 2003. Pepsi was their first client and remained with them for
Oh, 10 years?
10 years.
What happened 10 years after that?
Game Jam happened.
So that was their last
Yeah, I think
Collab
I,
with-
I think Pepsi
he pissed them off.
Yeah, Pepsi was like no more. But yeah, so like his entire company's thing was like they went to different major corporations and said, "Hey, do you want propaganda TV shows?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, what a racket.
That is a racket. How come we haven't done that? You know, like
If Mountain Dew, if you want a podcast, let me know.
yeah, that would be like
I'll do it.
Slim Jim.
We'll drink
Yeah,
And I won't even scream at any women.
no.
Probably not. I can't promise, but
Yeah.
probably not.
Like, who do you think would be the best sponsor? Just like
Oh man.
just Slim Jim and
Balls.
Oh, my,
Yeah.
oh, come on, that would be the best
Balls
sponsor.
Guarana.
Dude, I was
I got
thinking like
emergency balls in this fridge.
Yeah.
You never know.
true. Balls energy drink, the best
Yeah.
energy drink out there.
It really is.
Oh,
What are we
you never
talking
go
about?
wrong. We're talking. Oh yeah, no.
I have.
He made a rock paper scissors tournament. Like
That is a thing.
Isn't
Yeah.
it crazy that the rock
Somehow.
paper scissors dude won $50,000 and the game developers are going to get a year's supply of Mountain Dew
yeah,
and a ski trip? That's wild.
like
Uh,
that's. I mean, the idea is just so far fetched. It's so off the mark
yeah.
Mhm.
for video game creation. Like
I can see how he strolled it like up and thought like he was treating it in this archaic way for a completely different industry.
Okay. I had written down Matty Lesham seems to be a film producer now. That's all I have. So you expanded on that.
Yeah. He's doing his thing out in Hollywood.
Being a grifter.
I don't think I need to tell you where the rest of the people went. It's pretty obvious. Yep. Turns out that the YouTubers and game devs did just fine without the exposure that they were being promised.
Yeah.
Several of the devs wrote statements on their involvement, the main three being Zoe Quinn, Robin Arnault, and Adrian Malik.
Those 3 students probably, that they suffered more than anyone. That could have been a bigger break for them.
Yeah, dude, that one kid got a virus on his USB stick.
We also don't know who they are. They could be working in games. USC has a very good game design school. Anonymous. Yeah. In addition, Jared Rosen, I don't know where he is right now, but I'd like to thank him for his comprehensive write-up on his experiences. There's an article I referenced a ton. I took a lot of verbatim quotes from because it's very well written. The article is on Indie Static, which I think no longer exists, but the article is called "How the Most Expensive Game Jam in History Crashed and Burned in a Single Day," which also spawned articles on other sites that I used. The Indie Game Reality TV Show That Went to Hell on Kotaku by Nathan Grayson. How Game Jam, an indie game dev reality show, collapsed on its first day of filming on Polygon by Colin Campbell and Owen Good. And Game Jam reality show canceled as indies wouldn't put up with its shit on Eurogamer by Jeffrey Matulef. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so thank you to all of them. Now, to address the Gamergate-sized elephant in the room, the article, the indie game reality TV show that went to hell, on Kotaku by Nathan Grayson. Nathan Grayson later dated Zoe Quinn and was the subject of her Gamergate controversy.
Yeah.
And this article was used as an example of him giving her good press in exchange for sleeping with him. And I found a lot of...
It's really the spark that lit the shit fire.
Yeah, I read a lot of...
one of many.
I read a lot of Kotaku in action Reddit posts about how Matty Lesham's actually a really good dude and Zoe Quinn's the devil.
How's that sub still around?
If you think that, you're wrong, because you're like a flat earther. There's too many firsthand reports of this show being a disaster for that to be framed good press.
Hey, at least Gamergate never came up again, right?
Yeah, they're gone, not back. Don't listen to them.
What? Gamergators?
Gamergate 2's coming.
Yeah, the squeakle.
Coming out this year.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wow, Electric Boogaloo. Who's it about this time?
You didn't get my newsletter?
Oh, no. The quarterly hasn't reached reached my town yet.
This time it's about a writing consulting firm named Sweet Baby.
Yeah. We'll cover it in 5 years.
We will cover it in a couple years. Yeah. Also, huge thank you to one Reddit user who's not a Gamergator. The only one I found that wasn't a Gamergator. I don't know, actually, but this article, he didn't have anything negative to say in this specific post.
Right.
Wrote a post, a great write-up on this that I found information from on r/hobby drama titled Sexism, Manufactured Drama, and Mountain Dew, How One Man Killed a 4-Day-Long $400,000 Game Jam.
Flushed away.
Then now a Reddit thread was also the first I learned about this, and this is where I decided to do this episode, so... and also YouTuber Many Kudos video, how one man ruined the $400,000 Mountain Dew.
That's right,
Game
Many
Jam.
Kudos did cover.
Yeah.
I love Many Kudos.
Yep. Which was also helpful, and of course, as always, a thank you to Wikipedia.
Always.
Yeah. Always, forever, and ever.
Yeah. I wonder, with game jams, right? Like the entire idea of a game jam, I understand what they're saying, which is like, oh, we can press it down to a week. But really what they're doing is, in my mind, they're essentially truncating a majority of the expanded work that AAA studios have to do. Because if you're making a game jam, you're not building the engine, right? You're not hand modeling any of the shit, right? You're using pre-rendered assets.
No, they model.
They model?
They do. Sometimes there are things that are a little bit more proof or it
depends.
Stuff and
it's like I said, sometimes there's game jams where it's like
more
one person will make a game and they might use pre-made assets.
Yeah.
And pre-made music, but I've seen game jams where it's like 100 people are participating, but only 6 games come out of it, and each team has like 15 to 20 people.
Yeah,
And so there's like musicians who spend 3 days writing music and modelers who spend 3 days.
What's taking GTA 6 so long?
They're all working from home. That's the problem.
Now,
even though most game jams are done over
the problem why GTA 6 is taking so long, we all know the answer, which is they have unlimited money.
Yep.
They are polishing it to be the most pristine diamond of all time.
Of course. I know.
They need a game that is good enough to convince everyone to leave GTA 5, GTA 5 online to GTA 6, which is really hard.
I don't envy anyone in that position.
And at this point too, like you gotta remember, GTA 5 runs on a potato, right? Yeah. So you need GTA 6 to be so optimized it could run on a potato.
I know. We got the end, but like you've probably seen the narrative going on, and people are calling GTA 6 like the most important.
I was gonna say
release
in addition
to launch ever because of the state of the industry.
In addition to what Chris said, if GTA 6 is a failure, the entire video game industry is going under.
That's it. Yeah.
the entire thing is propped. It's like a toothpick holding up a city. And if GTA 6 snaps, we're all dead.
All they gotta do, you know what they gotta do? All they gotta do is make a Red Dead Redemption 3.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think
I love Red Dead like to death, but it's like that's it's still that game only sells around 60 to 80 million copies, but GTA is selling around like what 180
million. Yeah.
They sold more copies of GTA than there are people alive on Earth.
I bought it.
How many times?
4.
Guess what? Wait.
I bought it 3 times.
Guess what?
So you bought it 4.
I am the minority.
The last one was just a $10 upgrade for the PS5 one, but I did 360 PS4 PC, and then
I am the minority. Guess how many copies I have purchased?
0.
You got it. Guess how many times I played the campaign?
Once.
0.
Really?
I don't know how it ends.
You've played through all the other.
You should play GTA 5. It's one of the best games ever made.
That's the problem. I can't say that. No, dude. I already know what my main character's name is. His name. Oh no! Actually,
I
already remember.
Gave copies of that game away for a while. Like,
oh, dude, my character's name is Claude Speed. All right, Claude Speed and Tommy Vercetti. Mainly Claude Speed. Yeah, but yeah, dude, GTA 3 was enough for me.
2001.
Yeah, dude, I've stopped.
Did you play Red Dead 2?
I did.
Masterpiece.
Red Dead 2 is a masterpiece. Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
As Nakey Jake said in his video that came out today, it is Rockstar's opus.
Yeah.
Magnum opus.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
In terms of narrative.
Sorry, last thing I'll say is like GTA 6 also has to live up to that expectation as well. Not just GTA 5, but Red Dead 2.
That is not only the best written video game of all time, but it's one of the best written pieces of media ever.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like a fiction.
You know what we should do? Yeah. We should close this out, and then we could all sit here and talk for the next 45 minutes about how much we love this shit.
All right.
Sipping our Mountain Dew. That's apologies to everybody. I wanted to, on the way home earlier, just grab a bunch of Mountain Dew. And
I have diabetes.
I would have gotten you a diet one.
Diet Mountain Dew?
Diet Mountain Dew? That's worse than water.
Yeah. We trying to kill him?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, this was a fun little short punchier topic. Yeah. I want to do more of these.
I love it.
Because my next one is also going to be like an hour or so.
Yeah.
And almost equally annoying to read about.
Yep.
I
know what it's about.
Yeah.
Let me know when you want to do the update to the Billy Mitchell trial. It finally resolved.
Yeah. I think
November.
November?
We'll be doing it in November.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we did the update, I was like, we're going to put a pin in this for now because...
it came to a resolution.
No spoilers.
Don't want to spoil it.
I know, but I don't know. Yeah. All right, plugs. Let's go.
Thank you for listening. I apologize. I decided to finally host an episode after Randy doing it for like 2 years straight, and then I got a cold, so my voice is a little shaky, but
a little hoarse.
Yeah. But thank you for listening. If you want to hear more topics,
this is a unique one. There's not a lot of things applicable.
There were not a lot of related things. Yeah. The closest one is probably the one
Advent Rising.
The Advent Rising contest you mentioned. Yeah.
For whatever reason, when you told me what this episode was, my immediate thought was the choose a Mountain Dew flavor where Granny Gush and
Fapple
Sierra Mist.
That was the best.
Yeah, where
Hitler did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong. Granny Gush and Sierra Mist were the top 3 choices. I thought that's what this is about, and I was like, I love it. I can't wait.
All right. You can find those episodes, the episode we mentioned and more on hotbuttoncast.com.
Yep.
Also on all the podcast services. And you can subscribe there. We also have our socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow those and find out when our episodes come out. And that's it.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Do the do.
Do the do.
Do the do.